Hello and welcome to our Blackity Black Day with J.A.B. Brown. We didn't get the memo.
No one told me. And here's the thing: if you had told me I had to wear black, I wouldn't do it. But
Right.
anyway,
You and me both. So you should really wear black.
no, I'm not doing that.
No.
Last time I told us what to wear, it didn't go good. We were all wearing black, dressed as men in black in October.
No.
When
It wasn't
was it?
October. It was July 4th in New Orleans. All black. Paying tribute to Men in Black. This was Jay's great idea for the Sky Show we were doing in New Orleans the 4th of July.
Yes.
And it was 172 degrees.
And we all had on black suits, and Tom had on a wool suit because Tom didn't wear suits. I don't know where he got that suit from.
That was before he started doing the fancy stuff.
Before he started.
Before he started going the way of the designers.
Yes.
Hey, J.E. Brown, how you doing?
Doing good, Sybil. What's going on, man? So much is going on, huh?
I know, but I want to find out about you. You just finished a sold-out weekend in
Baltimore Comedy Factory.
Is it me or is it? Oh, he just left out. Okay. J. Anthony Brown was in, and he's not late. He was here early and on time. So there you have it. He just needs to change his name identification there in the screen. J. Anthony Brown finished a successful weekend in Baltimore at the Laugh Factory. And also went to visit a sick friend, as you may have seen. So I wanted to talk to him about that a little bit. Also, want to talk about what's going on in the news. And as you know, boy, there's a lot going on. Did anybody watch the president's speech today? Was I the only one in the middle of the afternoon? President Bush speaking in Philadelphia, talking about election rights and I am sorry, President Biden. I've been doing that a lot lately. I don't know why. Even in my head when I'm thinking President Biden and I say Bush, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
There it is. Okay, I'm back. Yes, I did watch Biden's speech. Yes.
You did? Okay.
It took a long time for him to make this speech. I think he should have been making this speech from day one. But I've said, and you've said, that the voting rights bill is the most important bill and the most important situation that we are in terms of American citizens. I wish he had been talking about this from day one.
Yeah.
Day one, I don't know. He's up against the wall with these Republicans because they don't have to do a damn thing, Sybil. Not one thing. Just ride it out and see how the chips fall. Really. Yeah.
And the chips are falling all in the Republicans' direction, by the way, if that means anything to you. But you're absolutely right. It took a very long time for this speech to be made. And I felt his passion because he really did. He was very passionate about the subject because without voting rights and without the rights of African Americans, especially African American women, we would not have had Joe Biden as the president. Joe Biden would not be where he is. And as you said, this should have been from day one. It should have been from day one of his campaign, or at least the revival of his campaign. After he won in South Carolina, that should have been it. That should have been, whatever I have to do to help you people. And I know he would not have said that.
I mean, I'd take you people if he said it. I'd take it. I wouldn't be mad if he said you people. Here's the thing. It reminds me of the situation that Lyndon Baines Johnson was in. The difference is it's a different type of politician. You have Republicans. There's no Republican that's afraid of Joe Biden right now. There's no strings that he can pull to get Republicans to do what he wants to do, like Johnson, Johnson can do. He doesn't have that power. So I really think we're gonna get screwed on this one, Sybil. I really think we're gonna get screwed.
And Jay, the thing that frustrated me the most is he is still holding to, he's holding to the filibuster, and he doesn't want to do away with this. And any other way, it's not going to happen. You can spend $25 million. You can spend $250 million. You can spend $250 billion. And that might make a dent in what they have to do as far as educating people on what they have to do as it relates to the restrictions that are now on many people in these states across the nation. Right?
Even the Democrats in Texas, I applaud what they did to leave. They probably wanted to leave anyway. Even the Democrats in Texas, but it's just something to buy time. It's not. I don't know if it will work. I applaud them for doing
Well,
that. But
I do too. And people are calling it, leaving, fleeing, whatever you want to call it. I say that they have implemented a boycott against the Republican rule in the state of Texas. And until Republicans are ready to come to the table and make some real tangible changes in these voting rights bills that they are trying to put up in Texas, then I hope that they stay away. And I know it's going to take a while because now we're already in the middle of July, so it's going to be another 3 weeks that they have to be away. And not every Democrat
can
took
stay away
leave
that long.
yesterday. Yeah,
I
because
understand a lot of the
this is
married
not a
ones
full-time
definitely. A
job.
lot of married ones want to stay away. So that's the whole. Maybe I'm working. I wish I could come back.
Maybe that's why I couldn't get in touch with Royce West. Okay. But I will say that as passionate as he was, he's not ready to make, and like your boy Jim Clyburn said, we had this in the newsletter on Monday. You've got to tweak the filibuster. You have got to do a carve out. You have got to find a way to make the filibuster go away when it comes to constitutional elements.
And Manchin and what's the other lady's name?
Cinema.
What?
Cinema. Senator
Cinnabon.
Cinema.
Yes, Manchin and Cinnabon are just staunch Republicans. I know he has voted, across the board with Biden a lot of times, but this is the time you really need him. So what you did in the past, in my opinion, don't mean shit. This is where we need those two senators to really vote, with the Democratic Party, and they're not going to change it, Sybil. They're just not going to change.
Well, that's why, and that's what Clyburn said. If you don't do something, and this is Clyburn from the House, this isn't his area because we're talking about the Senate and what they're doing. But he said, if you don't, you can say goodbye to whatever Democratic majority you have.
Yes.
If you do not do this now and try to and hope that the miracles are going to happen and that you're going to get your majority back in the House, you're going to get a bigger majority in the Senate, and of course you'll keep the White House for the next couple of years. But if you think that's going to happen, you're in for a very sad and rude awakening.
Well, Trump's going to be back in power
well, in effect, he is. He already is.
He is so empowered, But what he needs to do is really stop. Whoever who's writing speeches for his son needs to.
Junior wants to be in that seat so bad.
The thing is, it is a natural to be an asshole for Trump. He's a natural asshole. And I have to admit, there's sometimes Trump says stuff that's funny. Junior ain't got it at all. He just ain't got it, Yeah.
And by the same token, I called him Bush, but talking about Biden, but in terms of the two Bushes, senior and junior, Junior didn't have it either.
He didn't have it.
Different time. It was
he
a
just
different
didn't
time.
have it, Sybil. He was able. Trump was able to label him and make it stick and ride it out. And
no, but I'm talking about as the president. It's one thing for Donald Trump to be president, but for Donald Jr. to think that he could do what the two Bushmen did and follow his father into office. He doesn't have it.
The joke he did was Texas was in the lead, and then came Austin. I'm like, well, dude, Texas is a state. Austin
is the capital city.
If you're gonna do a damn joke,
do it right. But he First of all, he doesn't have the brains to be a comedian.
No,
You have to be smart to be a comedian. And
it's not that all comedians are smart.
well, most of you all are. Present company included. But you know what I mean? It's a difficult situation to watch. And this weekend, the Conservative Political Action Committee had their big conference in Dallas, and so full of Republicans, and that's where Junior spoke. And then of course,
and what is wrong? Well, there's really nothing wrong with him. There's nothing else Ben Carson could have said but what he said to be interesting. Anything else he said,
there wasn't.
He would have looked.
So what was your? So that's what I was going to ask you. What was your take on what Ben Carson said?
It's what he had to say to get that crowd. If you don't say that in front of that crowd, you're not saying anything. So you got to come up and say some ridiculous bullshit. Other than that, you lose the crowd. And every now and then you
what did you hear him say? Because what I heard was wah 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 wah. What did you hear him say? I promise you, I saw it, but what I heard like the Charlie Brown teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ben Carson, it should be the first time a Chiron should go up under his neck. Nigga, please. That's
Okay, so trying to Yolanda, can you help me out? I'm having a hard time seeing the clock. We talked about the Biden speech and what he's got to do. I was not satisfied. I wanted to be, but you just had to tell what he said. In terms of my thoughts on it, I was disappointed because I don't think $25 million that the vice president announced last week is going to do any good. No. And I think the president has. And here is my point about all of this, Jay. If Joe Biden doesn't win re-election, no, he's going to be fine. We're screwed, yes. He's going to be fine. He is an old white man with enough money and power to go and live the rest of his life.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Like all of the other white members of Congress. Yeah. But if he loses and he doesn't do his due diligence, like get rid of the damn filibuster for right now, we take our chances and try to get these voting rights bills passed.
But that's wait.
If we don't take the chance and get these voting rights bills passed, if we don't take away the filibuster and get some more people on the Supreme Court of his thinking, a more liberal way of thinking, if we don't get more people in the Senate, then and he loses, we're really
screwed. Well, I have to give the Republicans credit in terms of how they're cheering up their base with local elections, which Democrats are definitely not doing. And a lot of people will say, well, how are they doing that? They're doing that on small elections, and school boards and city councils and stuff like this. This gets people fired up for the big elections. The Republicans, the Democrats don't have that going for them at all. It's just big, major elections that you would hope people get involved in. You got these white people going to these school board elections that just gets them fired up over teaching about slavery and stuff
critical
like that.
Race theory,
yeah, and it gets them fired up for the next thing when they have to vote. Right. We don't have that. When I say we, I mean the Democrats don't have that going for themselves. And that's
we got to get fired out. We've had this discussion in our production meetings, talking about stories on voting rights and how many stories are we going to do? Are we going to do? It's something I believe, and until people convince me otherwise, this is the most critical time for us. And talking about voting rights and getting people involved, telling the stories about how people innocently vote when they are not allowed to. And
you mean about the guy in Texas?
Yeah, Hervis, Mr. Hervis Perry, I think is his
name.
And
they want to give this guy a lot of time.
40 years. And
Oh,
this is the state where another black woman was sentenced to jail because she voted while she was on parole and thought that she could, and was and in her way of thinking, and her vote was, it was a provisional ballot. Her vote didn't even
didn't
count.
even count, right?
So all of these stories we have to keep telling in order to get people fired up and to give them the instructions, the ground rules, everything that needs to be done in light of the way that the Republicans are trying to take
I
away
don't,
the right
Sybil, I
to vote.
don't even know if, in terms of, and I'm just saying in terms of black people, how if they're excited enough about the vote being taken away, as Republicans are excited enough in terms of taking the vote away from us.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It
Yeah,
seems like Republicans are really excited, really fired up to
yeah, they
stop us
are.
from voting. I don't see us that excited and that mad and that angry that we might lose the vote.
Yeah.
It just seems like we don't care. I don't know.
Well,
I don't
I
know.
want us to care, and I don't want to create a tune out factor.
Uh-huh.
God, I think we just have to keep talking about it, and until people get sick of it, say why, and we have to keep explaining why it's so important. Because if you think that things are bad now,
They're gonna get worse.
come on, come on.
I don't know. I don't know. And even if we were talking the other day about people not working, I don't know if Biden made the right decision in terms of giving people a lot of money. Is it possible that people don't want to work? I don't know. I don't know about you, but I've never seen this many work for hire or help wanted signs in my
Mhm,
entire life. I've
mhm.
never seen this many signs. Could it be that because people are getting a lot of money or getting a lot of government assistance? That's one
Well, let's
factor.
put it out there. Let's put it out there to the people. And do
Yeah.
you think that these bonus dollars that are going to people in their unemployment checks, do you think that this has made a difference? And do you think that it's going to push people back to finding jobs and to looking for work as a result of the Republican governors taking away the bonus money?
You got to understand. For 18 months, we were working. A lot of people worked from home
Yeah,
for that pay that they were offering, and
yeah,
that was the pay that they gave us. Now they want us to go back. When I say us, I mean people who have those 9 to 5 jobs.
right.
So to go back is going to cost you more. A lot of people got comfortable in terms of getting money from the government.
Hmm.
I know some people who are getting $600 a week plus food stamps. There's hard to get a job that would entice that person to go back to work.
Yeah,
What would be the job?
yeah.
I mean, even if it's $25 an hour, I'm living comfortable off of this type of money right now. So there's no way in hell I'm going back. I applaud the people from Burger King who put the damn sign up, though. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool.
Right, right, and I meant to get a picture of that. Um, but there are so, I mean, Burger King is one that they're increasing their wages. McDonald's is talking about it as well, in order and with a real package in terms of health insurance and tuition
But
assistance.
that just goes to show you that those people, when I say those people, those companies weren't paying people what their worth was from day one. So now that they really need you, let's give the incentive of let's sweeten the pot a little bit. Maybe
Right.
they should have sweetened it a long time ago, and then people would be. I know I'm opening the club back, and I cannot offer $15 an hour.
Right.
I really can't.
Well, that's
I
because you're
got to go
cheap.
up to twenty
That's because
dollars an
you're
hour.
cheap. Arthretta Wilson says it's not just the money. She says it's on Facebook. It's a combination of fear of COVID, equal pay, childcare, and all of these other things. And I'm wondering if people are going to feel their a little bit more money in their pockets when these child care tax credits go into effect and the checks go out day after tomorrow.
Well,
Uh,
I don't see fear of COVID because people are out in the clubs, they're out in the
yeah,
mall.
well, yeah.
They don't seem to be afraid of COVID. It might be something that we don't even know what it is, but it ain't COVID because their asses is out.
Kimberly Jackson on YouTube says Canada gave away more money during the lockdown. Are they having these problems? Cost of living is high, and a lot of these wages are low. They say that that they are increasing the wages for people. I know just as people send me job listings that they are that there are some what seem to be, not just the minimum wage of what people consider the minimum wage now, $15 an hour, something above that. And Amazon has all of those commercials saying that their people are averaging over $30 an hour, that kind of thing.
But I wrote something
Oh,
the other day.
wait, look at Anthony Sanders. So tell me if this is true, Jay. On Facebook, he says some jobs are dropping drug tests now in order to find labor, to get people to come, saying you don't have to take a drug test.
Just come on in and work. I wrote this the other day, Sybil. We live in a country where a lot of people don't want to work. That is a fact. But we're stopping people who want to work from coming in this country.
Yeah.
That's deep. I wrote that.
You wrote that? But there may be some truth to that. There is
a lot of truth to that.
Because the people who are coming, they are some very hardworking folks.
But what's going to happen? But what's going to happen is the people are going to find their way in this country to take those jobs, and the people who don't want those jobs, when the government assistance and all that dries up, because it's going to dry up. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be giving people money forever. There's going to be anger in the streets because someone took a job that you could have gone out and taken. It's just simple,
Joy on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm sorry, Joy on Facebook. Joy 31608. Is that your address? Is in true capitalism, the law of supply and demand would increase wages when labor is scarce. Well, the money is there. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And if you're telling us that it's not true, then the law of supply and demand is not working any longer.
And a lot of people started businesses for themselves during the pandemic, but I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured it out in terms of what we're going to do. Because the country will survive. A country survives when we produce. Mm-hmm. What are we producing?
Right.
It's almost like the .com area. Remember the .com area where everybody was going yada 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 .com. And then the bubble burst from all these .com businesses. So will it burst from all these home-owned businesses that were people are selling incense? Don't get me wrong, but how is that a production of a country?
Well, of a company.
Are we producing?
Yeah. Well, who's to say anymore, Jay, what it is? Shanta Brown on YouTube says, with the mixed message of mask requirements for schools, I'm honestly scared to allow my children to return to school, and I have to return to work. That's another fear.
That's another thing, right?
That's a really big deal. And I'm wondering, Shanta, if that tax credit, that child tax credit is for you, if that is going to be something that you're going to look forward to and be able to take advantage of this week.
The virus is real, y'all.
The virus is real. The virus is real. And the mask thing. I had my mask the other day, and I was gonna put it on. I had it in my lap, and I inadvertently got out of the car, and it fell on the ground. And so I was like, well, I can't do that. So I had a bandana on my head, and so I wrapped it around my face and went into the store. And people will look at you. So, I mean, they got, either they don't have mask on or they have, just the regular medical mask on. And then they look at me like, I'm going to use whatever I have.
I really like wearing the mask. That way people won't recognize me, and I don't have to hear "watch out there now" 15,000 times. So.
Okay, JJ.
Watch out there. Okay,
Jay, it is time for our trending topic, and I wanted to talk to you about this guy. And I saved this, and I meant to do it last week. But it was trending a couple of weeks ago, and I want to bring it back because this is about Richard Hutchins. He was a homeless man. He was homeless. He's an artist, and he got offers up the wazoo, hundreds of thousands of dollars for his artwork after a video went viral. He went from homeless to hosting his own art gallery show and auction in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
Richard is an artist who spent years living on the streets in LA after his art studio burned down. I think we have a picture of him, Chica. And he's been everywhere now, alongside Charlie Rocket, who is a manager who met Richard by chance on Easter Sunday in a grocery store parking lot. Charlie Rocket says he wasn't even supposed to be there that day, and he saw Richard out there. And it's a lot like they're comparing it to. Do you remember Ted, the old
The
radio
voice
guy?
man, yes.
Yeah, the golden
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
He discovered the talented artist who in his heyday had been commissioned to do work for Muhammad Ali, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye, and others. He'd been down on his luck for years. Last month, he was lauded as he strolled into his own gallery featuring his work at the Sofitel Hotel, and hundreds of people attending the showing, including Damon Dash and others. And Charlie Rocket helped to set up his art website so he can sell prints. And he is hauling in more than hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, you know what? Damn, Charlie Rocket. I'm having an art show July the 18th in Columbia, South Carolina. Art and comedy with Jess Amy. This is my second art show. The hell with Charlie Rocket. I don't give a damn about Charlie Rocket.
Well, Charlie Rocket is, he brought Richard out. And so, Charlie, maybe you want to take a trip to South Carolina this week.
Come on down. Yeah. But, that's a great story. And it's a good story because most artists who are excellent artists, Sybil, the quote unquote starving artist is real because a lot of people don't buy art, especially art. I have a friend of mine who's an artist who draws portraits, of people. I draw abstracts. Mm-hmm. He said people would buy that more so than having a picture of Mike Tyson on the wall. Mm-hmm. I mean, who the hell wants to look at Mike Tyson all the damn time? They might look at some abstract that I would draw or some other artists would draw. So there are a lot of artists that don't make any money. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to him for, getting a break when most artists who are very, very good. I look at other people's art and I go, man, I wish I could draw that. And at the same time, some people said I can't draw abstract. They don't make the money. They just don't get paid for that talent. So the hell with Charlie Rocket.
No, say that. Charlie could be your new best friend. He could set you up with a website that would have you selling your prints for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to hate, Sybil. I don't know about you.
Don't hate. No, don't hate. Okay. Although that does.
I'm happy for them.
That does bring us to our question of the day.
Yes.
And it's hate in a way. But I do want to know, Jay, have you ever been a part of an act of revenge? Have you ever been a part of an act of revenge?
Yes, and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, so everybody, I want you to think about this and I would like for you to share. You could say just saying this for a friend, but do tell us. So what happened, Jay?
So I get stopped from speeding. Uh-huh. I get stopped for speeding. And not only did they not, let me just pay the fine. Back in the day, you got to go back to the station.
Oh,
so I'm trying to get to my next gig.
Sort of like an Andy Griffith episode.
Yeah, you got to go back to the station. So it's maybe 60 miles back to the station. So I got to go back to the station to pay the $50 or whatever the fine was. So while I'm in this little country ass town, I don't even know where it was. I said, can I go use the restroom? He says, you can go use the restroom. And I went in there and I turned the water on and flooded the damn place. And I left. Yes. And there might be a warrant out for my ass right now.
You flooded the bathroom at the sheriff's department, at the police department?
Allegedly.
And what happened to Barney Fife, I wonder?
But I've had revenge done to me.
Okay, so you have been the victim of revenge.
Yes, I have been the victim. So I broke up with this girl one time.
This one time?
This one time.
You mean this one day?
This one day. So she gave me a watch, a very nice watch. Mm-hmm. I had turned her on to the mechanic that I was using. So during the breakup, we ended up at the same mechanic at the same time. We were no longer,
together.
So, she saw me with the watch on. She said, "Can I have my watch back?"
Oh.
I said, here's the watch. So I gave her the watch. She put the watch on the ground and stepped on it. And
Oh, wow. And I bet you it was a nice watch too.
oh, it was a very nice watch.
I bet I'm not saying that it was an X watch, but maybe it was a relaxed watch. Maybe
have
not.
you, Sybil? Have you ever been? No.
I can't say for sure
Yes.
that
Okay.
I was involved in an act of revenge, but I will say that there was a relationship between this man and this woman, and he was really into his music. And at the time, all of his music he had converted to or had started purchasing all of his music on CD.
Yes.
And at the time when it was apparent that this relationship was not going to go very much further because
this man
because there were other women now making appearances
listening to his music on CD. Right.
So this friend went to this man's home and with several packets of crazy glue glued all of his CDs together.
Oh.
And of course, the only way to get them apart is to use something like an acetone or like a fingernail polish remover, right?
And it destroys it. Yeah, so it's going to be destroyed anyway.
Yeah, so you're losing either way.
Yeah.
I never heard what happened. He never told me.
Yeah, speaking of never hearing, he never heard them damn CDs either. Oh, did you freeze up? I think you froze up, Sybil. Anyway, Sybil's froze, and she froze on the smile. She'll be right back. I'll just keep talking because it looks like she smiles. Like an ad for the Mary Tyler Moore show. I don't know what's going on. What happened, Sybil? What the hell? Refresh it. Refresh it, Sybil. Is it just froze on my part? Oh, maybe that guy did that. Maybe that guy's getting your ass back. He froze your show. Welcome to the Jay and the Brown Show, y'all. Today's topic, we're talking about revenge. If you can still hear me, let me know, all right? Because Sybil's frozen with a big smile, and I'm going to hold it down until she comes back. I also would like to thank the people who came out this weekend in Baltimore. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We had a great time. Also, shout out for Gina G. Gina G was at one time a waitress in the J Spot. I would make her come on stage, and the rest is history. She's very, very funny. We had a great time. The next show is where's my next show? I don't even know. Is that Sybil?
Yes.
There she is.
Yes. What were they asking, Jay?
I said, what happened? You were frozen.
You were too. And we both got locked out. And,
all right. Maybe it was our exes freezing us out, huh?
or we haven't been able to reach Chica either. So I'm just saying.
All right.
Okay. So Jay, you were talking about your art show.
The art show is July the 19th.
Yeah, Arisha, it could be that friend of mine's guy hacking into the computer, and Jay's out again. Can you hear me? I hope you can still hear me. Jay has. Oh, we were talking about the art show that he has coming up this weekend in South Carolina. Oprah was also, as a part of that Richard Hutchins story, Oprah has also gotten on the Richard Hutchins train, the formerly homeless painter in the midst of his rise to fame. And he's told her that he had a picture, he had created a picture of Oprah and her dad from a photograph, but it had been stolen. And so she had him as a part of an interview as well. And speaking of nice things, but we went on to talk.
Oh, we're froze again. What the hell's going on? The internet's not being kind today. I guess I'm froze too. Yes, I'm froze. If Sybil's froze, then I'm froze. Wow, this is not good. Not good at all. I'm just talking to myself. Hmm. Y'all, y'all taking turns. Is Sybil froze? Am I froze? What the hell? Oh, I'm not frozen. All right, welcome once again to the J&D Brown Radio Show. Like I said, I wanted to thank the people who came out this weekend in Baltimore, the Baltimore Comedy Factory. If you're going there this weekend, Tommy Davidson is there. The week before that, they had Michael Blackson. My next show will be in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the art show. It's the blowout uh, art and comedy show. It will be in Columbia, South Carolina, featuring some of the local artists in Columbia, along with Jess Amy. This is the first time I'll be showing my art in Columbia. We're going to see how it goes. It's weird as an artist to show your art. Sometimes I don't really like to show it. It was just something I would do when we were doing the Tom Joyner show to draw. And my son encouraged me that I should show people my art and sell it. It's very colorful. And a famous artist by the name of Annie Brown, who I was fortunate enough to meet her before she passed. One of her most famous pieces is a piece called Blue Monday. Blue Monday. If you ever get a chance to look that up, it's called Blue Monday. That's one of her most famous pieces of art. I had a chance to meet her. I had a chance to talk to her before she passed away. I would go visit her in Vegas, and she saw my art and she said, "It's ugly, but it will sell." And that was enough for me. No, I'm not going to have a club in Atlanta. I'm going to have a club in LA. The J Spot is in the process of opening right now. Also, would like to thank Ronnie Raw,
I'm ready.
who had a comedy show there this weekend. There you go, Sybil.
There I
Yeah.
am. We're having some
We're
technical
having
issues
some
on our end.
technical difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's on your end and not my end. It's on everybody's end.
So Jay, what were you talking about?
I was talking about my art show, and I was talking about opening the J Spot. I did a long plug for the J Spot while we were out and opening the club back up, and how difficult it is to like get people to come back to work. In LA, you have to pay people $15 an hour, and they have to get those tips. In some cities, they don't have to get
Right,
tips. You
right,
don't have to give them the $15 an hour. They work off of tips. There's some cities. And Los Angeles is not one of those places that you can do that. So
right.
they were nice in the owner in a comedy club when the wait staff made way more money than me. Way. And I'm the one. The joke was on my ass. So.
Mr. Comedy Man.
Mr. Funny Man, right?
Charles B said, Jay, will you open a J Spot in the ATL in your new
In the
home?
ATL, I don't know. I'm in the process of really trying to get this. One thing I've learned by having a business is I've learned more about how to operate a business. I've been
You've
at
learned the
it.
hard way too,
You
don't you?
learn the hard way. I've invested a lot of money in this club. I've lost a lot of money. I've never made a dime out of it. But the inspiring thing for me is so many people, especially black comics,
Hmm.
just the look on their faces that they just want to get on stage and work on their craft. And as a black comedian coming up and starting out, those places just don't exist.
Hmm.
And so you have a lot of comics in LA who are doing shows in gas stations and churches and any place they can. LA does not have a predominantly black comedy club. And
Not
that's something
and
that
so because we always hear like Guy is doing this documentary and about black comedy clubs and they had the wall that was outside of the Comedy Store now with great black comedians and what have you, but that whole connection of everybody having a night in clubs, you would have a Wednesday night, or Kim Whitley and Buddy Lewis would have a night at their club. That doesn't happen anymore.
It still happens. The problem is, it's not really a problem. Black comics, black comedians, and I know this is not what we decided to talk about. Black comedians are saving comedy clubs across this country.
Hmm.
Any white-owned comedy club will tell you. If you think I'm lying, all you gotta do is look at the price when DJ Young Fly comes to town, when DL Hughley comes to town, some more comes to town.
J.
You can
Anthony
pick
Brown.
your top 10 black comics, J. Anthony Brown or whatever, nephew Tommy Jr. Look at the price,
Hmm.
and look at the price when Junior Juggle Balls comes to town. The white comic. I'm just using his name.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a cheaper ticket.
Hmm.
We save, and I say we, I'm talking collectively, we save these fucking clubs. It's no doubt in my mind. Black comedy is the reason that the improv and chuckles and giggles and ha ha and laugh along are still in existence because they could no longer book the white comics and sell and survive. So they switched over to, and it's business. Don't get me wrong, it's business.
Hmm.
But you don't have any black owned. You don't have that many black owned, and we don't have a black chain of comedy clubs. I would love to have that, and that's my goal is to have a black chain of comedy clubs where comics is over. Not only that, these white comedy clubs they seem to stop comics from going to other clubs.
Hmm.
Like if you go over
Yeah,
there and work
yeah.
the Negro night, say in that particular town, then we're not going to book you back over here. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
And George Wallace is chiming in on YouTube and saying they still discriminate against us.
Well, they should discriminate against his ass. No
So
doubt.
that Jay, what Jay has just given us is some real food for thought and some real knowledge. That's real talk, and what you need to know. And I'm gonna give you a couple of other things from our newsletter today. What you need to know. Um, I don't know if you watched this over the weekend, Jay, but the protest that took place on the island of Cuba,
Woo!
that was big. That was really big. I mean, the people have always had it up to here, but now they're up to here.
Now they're way beyond up to here,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get that mad here. Will we get to the point that we're fed up with it? I think the difference between us and Cuba is we seem to be, even our poorest, we're okay, way above the lifestyle in Cuba.
I don't know. Homeless and the way I'm not sure where homeless in the United States and where the Cubans, where they match up.
I'm talking across the board. There are way more people
Oh, yeah.
feeling,
And Jay, this is 60 years
60
worth of
years
this. I
of
mean,
Fidel
but the
Castro.
pandemic has done so much to so many, and this really seems to be the tip over where people are dying, where they are, and then and where the lines that they have to get in for just a very small amount of food every day. They can't get fuel for their cars for in those 1950 classic cars. They can't drive them. Obviously, as a result of the pandemic, no tourism. That's where the most of their money is coming from. Thousands and thousands of people took to the streets in the various towns around Cuba on Sunday, as well as other cities in the United States like Little Havana, and fighting and letting them know not only do they want to be free, not only do they need to unite, as they said, but they want to get rid of this new president that they have.
That's Fidel's brother, isn't it? His
No,
brother?
no, he's gone. He's gone. This is another guy.
Oh, this is another guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so, Joy, so that's what we had in today's newsletter, talking about the island-wide protests going on in Cuba. And the new Cuban president is Miguel Diaz-Canel, and they want him to step down. They said that they have had enough of all of this. And of course, things got worse after Barack Obama because he really tried to open up the country. And then I was going to say Fidel Castro, Donald Trump came in and really shut things down. And so as a result, people really feeling the effects of the embargoes. H2O Ice One says they're happening right now in South Florida, and the protests will continue throughout the summer. And if Haiti continues to rise up, the U.S. will have to intervene. And that's what we talked about last week. And
About Haiti?
about the murder of the assassination of the president of Haiti, Jovenel Moise.
And it's weird, Sybil. I know you've been keeping up with it. The connection of this assassination in Haiti is so connected to the United States. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
connected to
yeah.
people over here. And the United States has been very instrumental in supporting Haitians, the Haitian government,
Oh yeah.
and even in terms of doing business with them when we
Oh
could go
sure.
over there and vacate. And it's because of us all. We have something to do with some of these dictators being in power. We
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
The United
And this
States.
president, he was elected, but he would not bring forth any other elections. And so that, as you say, that dictatorship that, and a lot of Americans are now Haitian Americans, Dominican Americans, and others are now being pulled into this assassination and saying that there may be some connection between these people, including a doctor in South Florida who said he said, I think I'd like to be president. And this thing kind of one of the
Snowball,
theories is
right?
it kind of snowballed, and this is where a lot of these mercenaries got together, and they're talking like tens of mercenaries, 20, 30 people got together and created this plan to go in and kill the president and
And they went
seriously
in
wound
there
his
as
life.
government agents and announced themselves as
DEA
government
and
agents, right?
yeah, all of that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so it created a distraction as well as making themselves seem as though they were a part of federal government. And so this is going to be an interesting story to
It
see how
is
this all plays
definitely.
out.
It's gonna
So
be something
you
like
got
that.
right close to Florida, you got Haiti and you got Cuba, and
Cuba.
these things are really they really do merit our looking at.
Well,
And
it's kind of hard for people to go in and get all this power, and then say to the people, "Okay, I've done a great job. Now I want to have a vote, a real across the board to vote
right.
for you guys to see if you want to keep me." Well, especially when you build power, you're going to say, "I haven't done a shit. I've done a shitty job,
Right.
and I'm going to find a way to keep power." Trump is a perfect example. Let's find a way that we can keep this power. You have a small majority of people controlling a large amount of people in this country, and that's what the Republicans want. It has nothing to do with rights. It has nothing to do with voting rights. None of that matters. It's about power.
And
It's
Jay,
about the power.
the blueprint lies with their good friend Vladimir Putin.
Putin, Putin. Yes,
Yes,
I'm going to stay
one of your
here.
favorites.
I'm going to stay here as long as I want to stay here.
You and your little friend. I don't know
Yeah,
why I just brought
my
that.
little friend, and I'm going to. I know my Russian sounds like German a little bit. But, work with me on these people, okay? Okay.
Sarai.
Right. Are you going to talk about the Olympics? I saw you had a picture up about the doll.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that is a part of our entertainment. So thanks for bringing us into our entertainment segment, Jay. Wanted to talk about the Naomi Osaka doll, who sold out in a matter of hours. Chica, if we can see that picture. Yeah.
Wow.
See, I don't like it, but I am really angry that I I lost out on a chance to get it because I just like to have had it. Just like I tried to get I remember a few years ago when Ava DuVernay had a doll. I wanted that too, but
Did the
that was
Serena sisters ever have a doll?
oh yeah,
They
oh
did have
yeah,
dolls.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
For
I know
some
you're
reason,
gonna
I
make fun
don't
of me.
like those dolls with the posable, the bendable, where it looks like they didn't put skin over.
Yes. Well, I know, like I
Point.
said, I know you're gonna make fun of me, but I do have in my collection a Pee Wee Herman doll, a
Mhm.
MC Hammer doll, and an emo, the very first emo. So
Elmo,
yes,
Elmo.
Elmo. I meant to say Elmo. I've got an Elmo, right?
Oh, we need to talk. You know, you know how I feel about Elmo. Not the guy with his hand up
Yeah.
Elmo's, but Elmo, the
Well,
character.
this was
You
really
know how
great
I
for her
feel.
that they really came out with this. It sold out in record time. Good
Yep.
for her, and also good for her decisions in terms of making a statement like, I shouldn't have to answer these questions. I shouldn't have to I'll play this
Right.
game on your terms. I play this game on my
On my
terms.
terms.
I
Yep.
always thought it was stupid that you lose and you'd have to answer dumbass questions.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's like when you break up with somebody, you don't want to be answering. So what the fuck happened? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, you've done that to us a time or
I've
two.
talked about it a lot. Okay.
Yeah. But I think that you're absolutely right. And I think that these, just like the Olympics have to come around with some of their rules regarding the use of weed and other things, I think that these major, the Grand Slam tennis tournaments also have to make some changes in the
What do
way.
you think about them not having an audience, Sybil?
I hate it. But I don't think that they should be there in the
I
first
don't
place.
think so either, you know. But I
I've
love
said
when the
that over and over
spokesman
again.
I love when the spokesman came out and said it's not gonna have audience no one is gonna be what? They're not gonna have people come in the
At
quality.
first, it was just, they weren't going to do it. Then they were going to allow just the people
I
in
wouldn't
Tokyo,
go, you
citizens,
know.
to go.
But
And now
you
nobody.
asking me with my out of shape ass, I wouldn't go. So
If they had an art Olympics, would you go?
no, Sybil. I mean
I
that
know.
country
I
is so
think. I,
behind in
I,
in,
I think
in
that
giving
they
out
are so.
shots.
Yeah, they are so money hungry, and they're
Right.
so determined to make this happen.
but but
Who's going to buy?
they
Who's going to
they
buy all
built
this
here's
crap?
the thing, they built all these fucking buildings that are just
Yes, it's going to be standing empty.
why not have a Zoom Olympics? Damn it.
Okay. In screen number 1.
Yes, it's screen number one.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
I mean,
absolutely
fast
crazy.
time is fast time. If you ran fast here, that's your record. You got to run a record here to go. So why not a Zoom Olympics? I wouldn't go. I just wouldn't go over there. There's no way, you know. Anyway, I would not go. We have been frozen again with my pre-existing condition ass. There's no way I'd go over there. And shouts out, I hope the people who go, who decide to go, I hope they go and return safely and not get sick. And I would applaud, I would urge them to get their shots before they go over there. As much as you want to say about people taking the virus shot, there's a large percentage of the people who are getting sick are the people who have not been vaccinated. So that's what I say toward the vaccine. You know, a lot of people are just set on not taking the vaccine, and I get that, and I understand the fear that a lot of people have for not taking the vaccine. But any nurse or any doctor will tell you that we're starting to see more cases of people who are coming down with this virus and getting sick, and not only getting sick, they're dying. So that's some of the information you have to look at. It's your choice not to get vaccinated. It's your choice not to do that, but I would encourage anybody to take it. But that's just me. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just a stand-up comic on 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 the Instagram or on the Facebook. So, but I would encourage people to take it. I can't understand what would be your reasoning not to take it. I guess a lot of people say there's so much mixed information coming out there. It's good, it's not good, but for the amount of people that I know who've gotten sick, it has to do with people who have not who've not received the vaccine. So that's a choice you have to make. I don't know. And now I don't know where Sybil is. This is weird that she's having a problem today, and it's not me. I'm thankful that it's not me. That is good. So can you guys still hear me? Because I don't see anybody. Yeah, if you don't want the vaccine, then I would suggest that you stay home. That's a great statement. I just know too many people who are getting sick, and they're saying, and you're asking, well, did you get the shot? I have a good friend of mine right now who's sick with the virus. The first question you ask somebody is, did you get the shot? And a lot of them are saying no. It's your right not to get the shot. That's your choice you can make. But research is showing You know, I mean, the CPAP. I'm thinking about my machine. The CPAP that they had this weekend, they're calling Ouchie Fauci. You know, and they're chanting and they're saying, we don't want government to give us money. We don't want the government to tell us nothing. We just want to be able to live our lives. And that is not true. These Republicans are saying this shit. They do want government. Who do you think built that road that you drove in? Who do you think built the airport that you went in, that you went to? The schools, the libraries. That's government funded. So this shit they talk about, they don't want government involved, is BS. They don't want it because it's been implemented by Biden. That's the only reason. Trump had the shot. Trump was about to die. He got the shot. He got the spray. He got whatever it was to keep his evil ass alive. He got it, you know, and he's not telling you to take it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I encourage people to take the vaccine. I took it. If they say we have to go take a booster shot, I'm gonna have my ass in line. I'm gonna go get it because I think it's very important. You know, I want to be around a little longer. We all do, but the research is showing that COVID cases are starting to pick up, and with the Delta variants coming back in, it's a stronger strain. And they say, well, people who have the shot are now getting sick. Yeah, but they're not getting as sick, and a lot of them aren't dying. People are dying and leaving who have not had the shot. I know lots of people who have died, and I know lots of people who have family members who have died. And it's an argument that you can't even bring up. You just can't discuss it. Sybil?
Hey, Jay.
All right, hey, Jay.
I'm giving you a rest. I apologize for the technical difficulties we've had this afternoon.
It happens. There she goes again. It's an argument that you can't argue with family members or certain things that you can't. There you go.
Okay, so let me just leave you with Yogi's Jewel, and then we'll be out. Remember, time waits for no one. Live your life to the fullest, J. Anthony Brown. I think you are.
I think I am too.
I think you are. Me,
Yeah,
I'm But and one more thing. Thank you to J. Anthony Brown for Hotter Than a Mofo, and now we have a promo from Chris and Huggy. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Bye. See you later.
Jacksonville, don't miss Huggy Lowdown and Chris Paul live Thursday through Saturday at the Comedy Zone. Get your tickets at comedyzone.com.